Hello and welcome to Change Management Made Easy, a video series providing best practice advice for getting change management right. This is brought to you by Change Proud, a change management training and resources platform. So in this episode, we're going to be telling you how to build leadership alignment for your change project or program. So building strong leadership alignment is absolutely crucial no matter what size of change project or program you're implementing. Please don't underestimate how much value you're going to get from doing this up front. And ultimately, a lack of leadership buy-in and visible sponsorship is the most often cited reason why transformation and change initiatives fail. So it's really about helping leaders to recognise the influence they have, the absolutely critical role they play in the business as people look up to them, follow them, take their lead, want to understand their decisions and their mindset, and will ultimately, they are the role models that will usually be looked to. So you want to help them understand the influence they have. You want to equip them for the journey ahead with the right type of support so that they can engage their team members and other stakeholders to really adopt and understand the changes, and supporting them ultimately to be advocates for the change. So your leadership alignment efforts really need to be about building that common understanding with leaders so that they get why the change is needed. Don't always assume that they all do, because they may not. Why is the change needed? Do we all understand what the benefits are and potentially the risks and the role that we need to play in that? Building that commitment towards the program vision or the change vision. Highlighting where there are any key areas of disagreement that need to be addressed as part of kind of how you're going to engage, other teams, how you're going to take leaders through the program as much as employees, and really helping them to understand what's expected of them, the role they need to play. Please remember that leaders will tend to overestimate how aligned they are, and the need to basically demonstrate progress quickly when the business is going through a change can often supersede time spent up front making sure everyone is clear on the direction of travel. So that we need to get going, we need to deliver value, we need to get demonstrating that we're making a difference, kind of takes over, and people rush through that initial phase to say, hold on a minute, do we all get why we're doing this, and are we on the same page? And time again, that piece is just overlooked. On the right hand side of the slide, there's a few behaviors listed here that are just helpful leadership behaviors to have in mind when you're helping leaders to engage in a change program and really be the role models. So it might be helpful to call some of these out, to even, develop or deliver some training or create some kind of principles around these together. So getting leaders in a room and saying, are these the behaviors we think we need to demonstrate as the business goes through this change? What do these mean to us? So if I'm showing, courageousness, what does that mean? What does it look like? When I'm being visible to my team and communicating in a transparent way, what does that look like? What are those behaviors? And how are we going to hold each other account to behaving in this way to help the change be really implemented effectively? So just looking at what are the practical things you can do to actually build leadership alignment within your change project or program. So we've got 4 simple steps here. So ultimately up front, it's about identifying who your leaders are. So when we say leaders, it's a pretty broad term. Who do we mean? Do we mean, key sponsors of the program? Do we mean the entire leadership team? Again, depending on the size and scale of the business. Do we also mean key influencers? Meaning you might have your kind of executive level leaders, but you might also have that kind of senior management level or people within that who you see as really key influencers within their teams or their kind of operating units or functions that you might want to involve, because they are ultimately still leaders, role modeling behavior that employees are going to likely see and follow. So first up, get really clear on the leaders, stakeholders, influencers that you feel need to be really aligned on this program. Secondly, it's a good idea to conduct some kind of interview process with them. So helping to really draw out, once you've spoken to them all, some of the questions here around, do you understand the program vision? What do you see as the main benefits for us as a business going through this change? What are your thoughts on the biggest risks? How would you describe your personal role and what you think you need to do to make this a success? Really important to get that up front. and then perhaps share that back with the group to say, you know, here's where we're really aligned, here's some things we all tend to be kind of thinking quite differently on, what can we do to make sure we're all getting better on the same page around what this change is about. Then completing some stakeholder mapping. So there's another video in our series here which focuses purely on that, so please go and have a look at that to get into the detail. But it's ultimately about plotting people on a grid to understand their level of influence and impact, and therefore what you might need to do to make sure they're really aligned with what the program needs to achieve. And then ultimately creating an action plan for leaders. So many different things you could do to really build and strengthen that alignment. So running sessions with them, running workshops, away days, doing kind of high visibility forums where they get up in front of other teams and talk about the project, you know, how training them into role modeling the right behaviors, potentially even doing some one-to-one coaching and development with them. If you found this video helpful, for more easy to use and accessible change management training, resources and templates, please visit Change Proud. Thank you for watching.